As we go through the book of Daniel, we will ask this specific question: how does God speak to us? As we have seen earlier, God allows Nebuchadnezzar to invade Jerusalem and take Daniel and his three friends to Babylon to serve in his court. Daniel grows up worshiping in the temple and reading the Torah, which is primarily the first 5 books of the Old Testament. I'm sure that there are questions in his mind as he walks all the way from Jerusalem to Babylon. How could our God allow this pagan king Nebuchadnezzar to invade Jerusalem and ransack the temple? This is the God who through Moses liberated us from the slavery of Egypt through the miracles of the Passover and the parting of the Red Sea. This is the God who equipped Joshua to enter this land and drive the tribes from it. This is the God who gave us the great King David and his son Solomon. And now, this God allows Nebuchadnezzar to invade Jerusalem. Israel experiences a crisis of faith. What is God doing in our lives? Daniel takes a stand for his faith and eats vegetables and drinks mere water rather than the food disallowed by the Torah. However, Daniel is now made to study the literature and culture of Babylon and speak its language. In addition, Daniel is made to specialize in the magic arts of Babylon. This would have been thoroughly prohibited in Jerusalem. Then there is something even more incredible as we read Daniel chapter 1. Look at verse 17. To these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning. And Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds. God causes Daniel and his friends to succeed in the very things that are prohibited in Jerusalem. Even more so, Daniel becomes an expert in interpreting visions and dreams of all kinds. They graduate with flying colors, and it is said that the king finds Daniel and his 3 friends 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters of Babylon. What is God doing here? Is he contradicting his earlier message to Israel? What's more, we will read in the following chapters of Daniel that Daniel interprets 2 of Nebuchadnezzar's dreams and interprets the writing on the wall for his son Belshazzar. Without Daniel's presence in the court, I would argue that the lives of the people of Israel in Babylon would have been threatened. God saves Daniel and Israel by very, very strange means. My childhood was a very unhappy one. Although both my parents were Christians, there was mental illness in my family. I grew up asking God why all the time. There was a crisis of faith. There were no easy answers. And in fact, today I would say I have not found a satisfactory answer to why I suffered in my childhood. However, later in life, when God led me to become a church pastor, I found out that I could uh, listen and pray with people who are in pain physically and emotionally. Because I've learned to empathize with people after surviving the pains of childhood. Daniel succeeds in the magic arts in Babylon. God teaches me to be a listening and praying pastor through the pain of childhood. How does God speak to you? How does God speak to me? How does God speak to us? As we read the Bible and pray through the circumstances of life, we find that often God speaks personally to us through the most unexpected events of life. He reveals himself to us when we least expect him to. Therefore, as you look out for God, you will find him in the strangest of places. Be prepared to find him there.